Us on this fine Saturday morning. I really appreciate y'all today, man. I got a lot of good feedback from my last show. I having my partner on here, so guess what? I brought him back again.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, man. We got good feedback from the last time, man. So I was like, well, why not do it again? You know what I'm saying?
Cool.
So
I'm here. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. I think you got a good show lined up, and I think I'll be able to give you some of my perspectives as an
Right.
entrepreneur. So I'm excited. Yeah.
Hey, man, that's what we came to talk to y'all about today. We came to talk about blacks in corporate America. Why it's so few and not enough. You know what I'm saying? It's something that happens in every company, in every area, you know. So, we got a few things that we gonna touch points on, and we gonna try to see if we can make good light, not bad, good light of the situation. So
That's the goal.
yeah, I don't want to be negative. Everything we doing on here is positive. Please remember that.
Right.
So-
Spreading the love.
Oh yeah, so I want to tell y'all, man, thank y'all, man, for joining us today, man. Hey, and one more thing before we get started, please share, like, comment. You know what I'm saying? Join in the topic. You know what I'm saying? We can see it. I promise you, we can see it. You know what I mean? So if you got something that you want us to answer or ask, hey man, do it by all free means. You know what I'm saying? So they going to jump
Absolutely.
straight on into this thing, man.
About to share it right now myself.
Hey, that's called support.
That's it. Yeah. So if you on my friends list and you watching, you need to check in.
Please check in. Please check in. Anybody on my friends list, man, please check in. You know, let's make this thing bigger and better. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So the topic, corporate America. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about the pressure of corporate America in regards of black men. Meaning like, why is it not so many, CEOs and higher ups
Right.
in the corporate world? You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Because I think that we don't get the opportunity to even show our talent if, we fit for the job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
opportunity is just is yeah, opportunity is low as crap, man. And when you look at the numbers, which you're gonna point out, I mean, it's I guess unproportional, right?
It is.
Compared to
Very.
how many black people work in corporate America. When you look at the structure, it's just it's a problem.
Yeah, it's a big problem. It's
Yeah.
a big problem. And in my journey, I've dealt with corporate America, and it's always been that way. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, you might have your black managers, you might have your black senior manager, or
Right.
whatever the case may be, but I've yet to run into a black VP,
Right.
or a black CEO
Right.
of a Fortune 500 company,
Right.
if that's what you want
Right.
to call it. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I want to know, why is that? Like, why is that such a low number? You know what I'm saying? Now, I ain't saying it ain't none out there.
Right,
Now,
right.
I know it's
Yeah.
some out there somewhere.
exist,
It just, we can't see behind the bushes. You know what I'm saying?
right.
But
right.
it's crazy, man. And you got a lot of companies that I think they may feel that we're probably not good enough for that or something. Maybe I'm just overthinking that part of it, but that's how I feel to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there has to be, you got to think about, well, what is the reason, right? You try to find that solution. So, I mean, that could be plausible. There was one study that came out. I think this happened in the news lately, and I can't remember. I didn't prep on this,
Right.
but there was something that came out, and it said that the reason, I want to say, it was a Fortune 500 company, but they said that blacks were not qualified. That's why there was no blacks in the corporate structure in like executive management,
Right.
because they weren't qualified.
That to me is unacceptable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I want to say it was an airlines. I want to say it was an airlines, but that's just what I feel. But I don't want to throw a company under the bus.
Right.
But it happened. So if y'all watching the podcast, y'all can Google that, and it happened fairly recently. When they said that. So yeah.
That's just like, come on, man. We gotta. I'm not saying that we ain't qualified, but at least give a motherfucker a chance, though. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, don't just assume because of what you think you know
Right.
that I don't know. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Right.
that just don't add up to me. You know what I'm saying?
Me either.
So, hey, it's like, what's the percentage rate? You know what I'm saying? Like, from now we got articles that we pulled, and just to do a quick check. So NBC, University of Chicago, did a survey, or more of a, like, I would say, a project for them. And in 2019 was the latest that they did this survey in. And so with this survey, it was saying that a lot of, at the same time, the African American employees who range from long time workers, nearly retire, to millennium, for feel pressure to work harder to prove themselves.
Right.
And I believe that's true. Like, I believe like we always got to prove ourselves 10 times, 3 times, what I'm saying, more than anybody.
Than our counterparts. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If y'all want to see this article, just pull that article up.
Right.
Like I said, it's NBC, University of Chicago. You know what I'm saying? They did their survey in 2019, so it ain't that old.
Right.
But
Yep, December.
yeah. So you the information is there. This is not something that we just making up just to be just making up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, and we just need to try to see if we can have a better understanding of what needs to happen. You know what I'm saying? The barriers to advance, as an individual, what I'm saying, to a white professional than our own professionals. You know what I'm saying? It seems like that they're going to get that promotion a lot quicker.
Right.
I've been in jobs where they done had promotions back to back. Back to back.
Right.
And when the person who's really qualified for that position, that person might get told, like, black person, might get told, man, yeah, right now is just not the time for you. But you turn around, you get an email, and it's like, well, damn.
Right.
Ain't the timing. What the hell they doing over there? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I mean, I don't understand why they just don't like give everybody an equal opportunity. Maybe they're just asking for too much, like, right? Maybe. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, too much like right.
yeah, like we can't do what y'all do. Like, how you figure we can't do what y'all do when in actuality we really do a little bit more.
Right. Because when you think about all of the pressure that we have to live up under,
right,
we have to endure. Black people have to endure a lot more than what people know.
Right.
Now, one of the things that Michelle Obama said in her podcast is that the reason for that is a lot of black people don't share their feelings, their experiences, their emotions to their counterparts. We just endure.
Right.
We just get through it. But we don't paint the picture for them to say, hey, this is what it feels like to live in this world as this color.
Yeah.
And working for this company, right? Because when you start to look at it. But yeah, I mean, so the key findings. Let's talk about the key findings in the report.
Yeah, man. You know, so as far as the findings go, you got blacks represent less than 1%. 1%, which is to them 8%, 0.8%, 8% of a Fortune 500 CEOs, with blacks making 10% of college graduates. You know what I'm saying? That means that's only like 50 black CEOs. You know what I mean?
So there would be 50 black CEOs based on how many have the college degrees in the corporate structure, right? But how many do we have?
We really don't have none. But there's only 4 though, y'all. It's only 4.
Four black CEOs.
So with
Fortune
just
500.
4, 4 now. I mean, how is that's going to make it like equal?
Right.
That's not.
It
equal.
will never be. Yeah,
it'll never
I
be.
don't think this country is set up.
And I think what it is that I think as far as like as black people trying to like advance in these corporate worlds, I think it's more of everything that we have to have on our backs will probably make them nervous to actually stand up and be like, nah, man, I deserve that spot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So instead of them saying that, they scared because they might lose their job. And now you done did all this for nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Many years.
Many years.
Yeah.
And you like, man,
yeah,
I shouldn't even said nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what I see and how I feel it just affects, the black mindset when you are in corporate America. So I guess that black people just sit there and take it.
Yep.
And we shouldn't just sit there and take it sometimes. Sometimes it's okay to stand up for yourself and say, hey,
Absolutely.
you wrong for that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm the kind of person, I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to tell you now.
You got to.
Granted, they might be like losing something, but at the same time, though, we keep allowing it to happen. When will it end?
Never.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, yeah, we got, and that's the reason for the show today is to bring light to it, man,
Yeah.
and to focus on that. Yeah, but so I'm gonna name the companies that have black CEOs, and I think that we, as black people, as the black community, have to rally around these companies in a way that's different from other companies
Yeah.
because they see, something in us that other companies maybe not. Either they see it or they're just not willing to admit it.
To accept, yeah, or accept it. You know what I'm saying?
It. There you go.
And when y'all hear these names, y'all gonna be like, "Wow, for real?"
Right.
So
the first company is Lowe's. So Lowe's has a black CEO. TIAA. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what TIAA is. And then Merck and Company, and then Tapestry. So those are the only 4 Fortune 500 companies that have black CEOs.
only 4.
Yeah.
4,
so,
y'all.
If you're in the home improvement business, man, take Home Depot off your list because they support Trump.
Yep. Yep. Lowe's.
I'm just saying. This is a free environment. I hope I didn't step on no toes on your show, but that's just how I feel.
Hey man, you gotta speak it, man. That's what it's about, man. Just speaking it on the existence, man. Because that right there, it says a lot. 4.
Right. Only 4 black CEOs.
Man, come on, man. They got more cars in spades.
Right.
and even with that right there, I mean, you just thinking about it. Only 3.2% of executives and senior manager level employees are African American.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now. So that let me know only on average of 58% of blacks indicate that they're feeling racism in their jobs. Mm-hmm. So that goes back to what I was saying. That put that mindset of I don't want to say nothing because I already know how they're going to act and how they're going to think. Because you might feel like they're racist. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to say anything to them about that.
Right.
So I mean, it's more of knowing what your worth is.
Yeah, you have to know your worth. You do.
So I mean, as far as like how can somebody be comfortable enough to be able to stand up if you really feel like you don't put your time in, you don't put your effort in, and you really want to make a stance for what you believe is right? How can somebody do that? Well, I can tell you one thing. Be confident that you know what you're talking about and what you're doing. Because if you're just in a company and you was one of the ones who got lucky and just got placed there, you can't really say that you put all your time. Because you ain't really just like added that effort into what you really want. Now, that's not saying that you didn't fight to get to where you are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I think with experience and with time together, it'll also teach you and train you on the level that you want to be at. You know what I'm saying? So that way, when it's time for you to step into that corner and be like, hey, man, how you just going to overlook me? Right. At least you'll have enough data behind it to be like, this is what I did.
Absolutely.
This is what I brought to the table. This is
Your
what
contribution is there. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm the reason why half of y'all goddamn getting them bonuses that we ain't getting. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm in the trenches making you look good.
Making you look good.
Right.
Right. So
that's the story of so many people.
Right.
That's in corporate America. And yeah. 100%.
Corporate America is a beast, man. That job, that lifestyle, because I call that a lifestyle because corporate America buy cars for their people. They you know what I'm saying, they transfer people from across the land to come here just to be a trainee, to build a company up. You know what I'm saying? Corporate America does so much within itself. It's almost like being in politics. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It is. It has its own rules and regulations and their own bureaucracy.
And you can't say certain things.
Yeah.
You can't. Hell, you can't even dress a certain way sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like some corporate companies don't even allow you to wear hats.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Me, I'm bald, and sometimes my head get cold.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
So I can't warm my head up.
Come on, man. Y'all ain't got good air here, but you a goddamn Fortune 500 company. Come on, man.
Right.
So you know, and I just think that we just need to learn our place in our world. You know what I'm saying? So. Even like just knowing what you're worth. Also, how would it feel like if you was not maintaining the way you wanted to maintain?
Right.
And then what I mean by that is like your family.
Right.
You might feel like that you're not making enough to support certain things at home. Because I'm going to just be real. Not saying every person, even white people, not saying that they don't have families at home to take care of, but I think that the opportunity of them being able to survive in a struggle would be a lot more or less painful than it would be for a black man in corporate America who's trying not to struggle. So paying your bills, paying your phone bill. You got kids who got phones, and you got like you know, some families is like one man working families.
Right.
You know what
One
I'm saying?
household income.
One household, you know,
Or
thank,
one income household. Yeah.
thank God, you know, my wife, you know what I'm saying, we had that understanding a long time ago. You know, it takes two to goddamn bill, you know what I'm saying, you know, you got to survive. So, and you know, hey, and by the way, I'm gonna have her back, y'all, because I got good feedback on that too. Man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I watched that show. It was awesome. Man. Y'all chemistry together is really, really good. And I think that you guys can have those conversations that people can learn from.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah. we gonna bring her back and have her bring some more of that good energy that she do so well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But let me get back to this survey real quick, man. So this survey, the national survey, was conducted online and over the phone in June 2019, right? Among 3,736 responded, right? So then guess what? Let's break that down, because they broke it down right here. They said that it was 1,398 men, 2,317 women, and 21 identified as something else.
Well, damn, how can you? What's something there?
I'm assuming out there.
Both. I mean, no disrespect
Boy,
to the
please,
LGBTQCWSYZ, but I mean, how can you? 21 people say they okay?
They said that. Now we didn't say that. Now they said
crazy.
that. So
right.
you know, don't throw stones over here. You know, we told y'all where this article came from. You know what I'm saying? And then they said 520 identified as blacks, 1,783 as whites. You heard what I said, right? 1,398 as whites. Now let's check this out. It was only 549 Hispanics, 674 as Asians. You know what I'm saying? And 135 as two or more races. You know, and what this is, and 75 as another race or
ethnicity. Yeah.
You know, that word fucks with me.
It's all good. It's all good.
But this was between the ages of 21 and 65, currently employed full-time or self-employed in the white-collar professional. You know what I'm saying? So with that right there is telling me is that they numbers was like the white world. I'm gonna say it like it is. The white world is more bigger than the black world, of course.
In this country.
You know what I'm saying? So for them to have a more of a majority say so, that lets you know that they quickly can call some of their colleagues and be like, hey man, come here for a minute, man. You know what I'm saying? So because they can have that avenue.
Right.
We can't have that avenue because there's none that we can go to. We don't have that existence. So for us not to have that existence, how can we just like build that? And I think the best way to do it is, you know what I'm saying, give people opportunities.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like as far as like black folks, like give them the opportunity.
Right.
Because if people don't really realize it, it takes a team to make shit happen.
Right.
It doesn't just take one person who has a good idea, because that one person still needs you.
Right.
And if you can't
do it on our own.
you can't. It's impossible. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way in hell that one person is answering calls, sending emails, going out there in the world trying to advertise whatever they doing.
Right.
There's just no way that they're doing that.
Can't do everything. Yeah.
So if that's the case, then how come we can't do the same thing as far as like what they do?
Right. I believe we can. You know, and I think that, you know, and that's a part of your show that we're going to talk about, entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? So,
man.
Yeah, we can. We just have to all focus and do that. Which in this study, it did find that 38% of black millennials say that they are considering leaving their jobs to start their own country. I mean, their own company.
I
their own
wish,
country.
but I wish we could, goddamn, but we motherfucker have
We
a
live
fit.
in the United States to
Ooh.
start our own country. I
Okay.
mean, so many people would be happy as hell to see a lot of black people leave this country. But
Man.
there was, do you remember, and I know I'm getting off topic, but
That's fine.
there was a article came out, maybe not an article, but you remember when, like at the beginning of this year, when they was telling black folks to go back to where they came from, because that's where racial tension came, right? Like, because all of the killings, obviously, you know, rest in peace Breonna Taylor and George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, right? All those people that were literally slain, you know, by white folks or people that just didn't have any regards to or for human life. But there was a person that said, okay, if you want all the black people to leave the country, we're going to take everything that we've contributed with us.
Yeah.
So, and that list was long.
Oh, I believe it.
And you know, and so I think people should really understand that mindset and know that black people have the power and knowledge to do anything that any other race does.
Yeah.
And I believe that for any race. You know what I mean? I don't think race equates education. It doesn't equate knowledge or anything like that. We all have the ability to learn.
It's the ability, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
even if we do, like, say for instance, just up and just leave, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that, and what we gonna take? We gonna take football.
Right.
We
That's what I'm
gonna
saying.
take
And
basketball.
there's so many things this country would not be the same.
All the
man.
thing that y'all would probably have is golf, tennis, and and baseball.
Because we taking hip hop, we taking the whole
Hip-hop.
culture, we taking everything.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we ain't leaving nobody. If you
Nah.
don't want blacks in America, we taking everything.
And understand, y'all, we not talking saying that all white people are racist.
Right.
We know, I know a few of them that ain't. I love them to
Right.
death. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because
Absolutely.
they feel the same way I feel. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
Yeah.
And they ain't even from my own motherland. But y'all keep saying go back to where we came from. Well, I can say the same thing to y'all too now.
Right.
Because guess what? You ain't Indian. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You ain't no Cherokee.
Right. You don't own.
You
this
don't
land.
own this land.
Yeah, you know, it's an amazing thing, but I think that the conversation that is missing in corporate America is this type of conversation, is the diversity.
Yeah.
But you know, so many companies are focused on diversity itself, but not in where it matters in ways.
I think
You know?
the diversity part though is almost like a cover up though.
Right, because we got I mean, a lot of these companies do have diversity within the company, but there's no diversity in management.
Nah.
In the actual corporate hierarchy of the company.
Right.
And that's where the company, that's what a heartbeat is.
Yep.
You know?
And for them to have a diversity, I mean, you have to literally understand exactly what diversity means.
Mm-hmm.
Just because diversity to you means bring more blacks in or bring more Asians in, that's not it.
Right.
The diversity is to understand that you know what's the problem.
Right.
And you trying to
Right.
rectify in
Absolutely.
the proper way, not just to say, oh, we hired 16 black people in the higher management position. No.
And you and let's role play that situation. You hire 16 black people, but everybody in control of those black people are white.
Right.
And they can't identify with the black people.
Nah.
So they put all of these rules and regulations in that contradicts
Yep.
diversity.
Yep.
And it talks about, even when you talked about the way you wear your hair,
Right.
you know how many discriminatory rules and regulations are in corporate America for people like dreadlocks.
Or beards.
Right.
You know
no
what I'm saying?
facial hair.
No facial hair.
I couldn't work there because I'm not, I mean, I don't cut my beard hair. You know what I mean?
I'm growing mine.
And here's the thing. They don't even understand the anatomy in it.
Nah.
Black people hair on their face curls up.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are some black people that have the ability to shave every day. I'm ex-military, so I know it exists. But if you look at the military and you look at the statistics of how many black men are on profiles, that's what we call it in the military, when you have an exception to a regulation, right? So it's called a profile. So you can have a profile for shaving. You don't have to shave to a
Right.
certain level because they understand that black people have a problem with follicles in their face. It's gonna give you ingrown hairs.
And that's why
Period.
you need to have that same understanding
Exactly
in the corporate world when
But
it
if you
comes to
don't
diversity.
but if you don't have somebody in the top that knows that, and you create this regulation that you must be clean shaved,
Guess what?
you have excluded a whole fucking group of people.
And it's called discrimination.
There you go. You know, so if you've been discriminated because of your hair, call a lawyer. They may be call a good one.
They go tear you up right there. They go tear you up right there. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
you know, Let's take a quick break real quick, man.
All right,
Yeah,
cool.
let's take a quick break. We're going to be right back, y'all. I had this topic going again, man. We're going to try to keep it going for y'all, man. All right?
I don't think we went on break. I don't feel like the thing went on break.
It looked like it didn't.
It did not go on break. So let's try it again. Let's go on break.
Oops. Yeah, we back. Had a little technical
I
difficulty.
think so. I can't even. I don't even know what happened there. I have no idea what happened there. Okay.
Hey, man, shit happens, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know.
Hey, it's unscripted, man. It's a real podcast.
Hey, I
you
try to
know?
tell y'all, man. This is not, you know, something that we going off around here. There ain't no prompters around here. You know,
Right.
I like doing this because it's fun. You know what I'm saying? I like
Right.
having these conversations. You know, and having conversations with good people come with
Right.
sometimes technical difficulties.
That's it.
Hey,
That's
man.
it. That's it. No problem.
You know, that's why corporate America need to get their shit together. You know, but before I move on to the next time, I got one last thing to say about this right quick. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing, but you know, it's dealing with the topic that we had before. There is this lady named Julia Tyler Kennedy. She is a researcher, you know what I'm saying? And she had made a statement that was made, well, was probably asked and was told to her. So the statement was told to her was saying, while 65% of black professionals say it's harder for black employees to advance. Now, and then it was on the other side, only 16% of white professionals agree with that statement. So that let me know that somebody in that diversity area actually understands that. You know what I'm saying? So if we can get more
Right.
of them,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Them 16s, I take those. I take them 16s because that let me know that if I can spread them 16s in a company in different areas, that diversity will be a more of an understanding
Right.
than a discrimination.
Right. It'll be embedded.
It'll
right?
be
Yeah,
embedded and
yeah,
it'll be
yeah.
taught very well to the next person. And that's what needs to happen in corporate world. I think instead of us just hiring people to put them in place just to run a certain department, I think we need to start hiring people to advance and build.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
without that build, you're not gonna really have none because if something should happen to that person and you hire somebody else in there and they do something totally different,
Right.
that's gonna be a frustration on your end.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because yeah, you have to make it take root, and
Right.
it has to take root in policies and procedures and the mentality and the ethics and the ethos of the way you do business. You know what I mean? It has to be deep. And I think so many corporations focus on the bottom line, the money, and they don't focus on the environmental influences of their employees. And again, I think that so many corporations are so big that you lose the focus of the people.
Right. And
Because-
that's important to
you know,
catch, man. You
yeah.
got to keep that
Yeah.
because if you lose the focus of the people, there is no way that you're going to be able to gain their respect.
Right.
There's no way you're going to be able to gain their trust and have that feeling that if you in the world, you know what I'm saying, and this was going to lead me up to my experience, if you in a corporate world and they boss and they have no respect for you, right? how you expect them to want to communicate with you
Right.
in a confident way.
Right.
But
Right.
then you feel confident that you got the right proper information because if you like can understand bullshit from real shit, then you can tell if they bullshitting you or not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Reason being in my world, you know what I'm saying? I'm what they call corporate. I done been in corporate. I'm in corporate right now. You know what I'm saying? And the issue that I'm having is having, without putting it in a direct way, because, I love my job, y'all.
That's right.
But it's hard for me to have this person understand that I've been doing this for a while. I'm not gonna put this company in jeopardy just to suit my needs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm willing to train. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Let's say for instance, this type of person that I am. If they feel like that, okay, bro, I just don't feel like you ready right now, you know what I'm saying? I can be like, okay, and they bring somebody in over me, you know what I'm saying? If I get that good chemistry from that person,
Right.
and I feel that good vibe, I wouldn't be like mad about that.
Right.
I give you an opportunity now,
Right.
but if you come in here and you trying to rearrange everything that I've done, then now I got an issue
Right. And that happens all over.
all the time.
It happens all over.
All the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so it's very important that if you have an opportunity to go to a new space, a new environment, a new world, that you learn first,
Right.
before you make a change. Because now, if this company just falling to hell, then yeah, you ain't got no choice. But if this company has been succeeding before you got there,
Right.
you shouldn't go in there with a mindset thinking that, oh, I got to change this, or I got to change that, or my face need to be on the front poster of the whole
Right.
department.
Right.
No.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And
Yeah, I agree.
I've been in that situation before. And to have that happen is really, I can say hurtful, but it's frustrating.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because things that I've done at my job, I was doing it for a minute before, you know what I'm saying, I had somebody directly over me. And I
Right.
was doing it very damn well.
Right.
And for me to sit there and have that understanding that person has to be there, I was just like, okay, that's cool.
Right.
But why you allowing that person to change what's been working for us so far?
Right.
And,
Right.
and I think that's where we start having butt heads, or we'll start getting into like deep conversations on what can and cannot happen. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And
Right.
that right there, it could turn into something worse sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. People get in their feelings very quickly because especially if you new.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If somebody trusts you to do a job, you want to do the job.
Right.
But at the same time though, you have to do that job knowing that the person that you working with has the same interest that you have. And if that person displays that interest and they displays that they have that same work ethic, why would you want to change that?
Right.
And like you said, it happens in corporate America every time. And that's the frustrating part, and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
energy has to be right. You have to be point to point with your people, you know what I'm saying? Granted, you are the boss, but at the same time though, if you have the confident team members that you have,
Right.
you need to let them float.
Right. Because what you'll find is you like you mentioned about teamwork, and depending on the industry that you work in, depending on the type of structure and the position, some people, and I believe that there are traits. Everybody have traits.
Right.
Some people have traits to where they're more independent workers. They're able to thrive in a
Yeah.
more independent setting. And then you got some people that are more able to thrive in a team setting. So you
Right.
really, the goal of the employer, it should be identifying the strengths and weaknesses of their employees. Right.
Right.
But so many times that don't happen, and people get positions and then they jump into a position where that really they're not suited for in their personal traits.
Yep.
Because you're only as good as who you are.
Right.
And so you can't really be somebody different. And even if you try to be somebody different,
It's not gonna work.
at some point, who you really are is going to come to light.
Yep.
So
And see, like even with my team members, you know what I'm saying? I got a few team members that I care deeply about that's under me, and my whole thing is that granted, I am your boss. When it's time for me to be stern, I'm gonna be stern.
Right.
But I want you to also feel like you contributing.
Right.
So sometimes I have conversations with them, right? And I ask them, just to see how they think about this. Like, if we got to do something at the job, man, we got to put something together or move something here. I might just be like, what you think might be the best route to do this? Just to be seeing, some kind of level that they at.
Right.
So when they go to speaking about it, and I be like, okay, let's try that.
Right.
Instead of being like, nah, man, we're going to do it the way I want to do it.
Right.
Because I feel like if you contribute into building that one person, that sets a trend.
Correct.
Because guess what he's going to do? He's going to talk to the next person who might feel like, man, he ain't for us.
Right.
Nah, bro, he is for us.
Right.
He
Right.
giving opportunities over here.
Right.
So if
Absolutely.
you go to him and you talk to him, he's going to listen. Guess what that's going to do? Set that person to the next person.
Absolutely.
So now you building
Right.
down the line. So
Right.
now all you got to do is just sit back and let them do their thing.
Right.
And
Right.
not micromanage them.
Right.
That's another thing.
Right.
Micromanaging.
Micromanaging. Being in corporate America,
Micromanaging.
being
Oh
micromanaged.
my
Yeah.
God. Like, I hate micromanaging.
Right.
I can't stand it. It's not healthy. It builds frustration. It builds disappointment. You know what I'm saying? It can also build fatigue in you because you'll start getting to a point where you might be twitching every time you see that ball. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Syndrome is what I
Right,
mean.
but because micromanaging can really tear down your spirit. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Especially if it's been working for you this long. And I ain't saying that change is like
It's a negative thing.
right
Right.
because
change is important.
Because sometimes how I look at it now, if you in a world and you get change and you used to something that's like working the way it works, sometimes it needs change to be better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because the
To get to that
world,
next level.
yeah, because the world that I was in, when we was doing, I'm gonna just throw some numbers out there. We was doing numbers like having to do certain things, and it took us like 18 hours, 12 hours. Well, we had to rearrange it. We had to do some change. Now our change brought it down to 6 hours, 7 hours.
Right.
Now, granted, was they happy with the change? Nope.
Right.
But now they are because they saw the vision. Because
Yeah.
I wasn't
And the benefits of it.
right because I wasn't going in there trying to tell them, hey, y'all ain't doing it right.
Right.
I was like, look, let's try this, y'all.
Right.
Let's see how far we can go with this. If it works, we gonna stick with it.
Right.
If not, then we gonna keep doing what we've been doing.
Right.
They saw the change.
I think that corporate America don't a lot of, and again, it just goes back to who's in that position to make the rules, and it's a deep conversation because there's so many factors.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just go to my world. Like if I own a car lot, right now, I was different because I had never worked in a car. I had never worked in a car business before I opened a car lot. Most people would be like, "How the hell would you do that?" I've been doing it now for almost 2 years. So come February, it'll be 2 years of me owning my own car lot.
Entrepreneur.
Right. And so I think what happens in the corporate world is so many people get positions that they have no experience in.
Right.
And then not only do they not have the experience in the task, but they don't have experience in building a team, in structuring processes.
And that's important.
And communication,
Oh
being
my
able to
God.
communicate effectively to a point where there's a quote, and I'm probably going to paraphrase it, but basically the sentiments is a good leader is a person that listens more than they speak.
Right.
And so you have to be able to listen at your people and not talk at them.
And see, that's what I believe.
So yeah, and so that's why your trait has made you successful in building a successful team and having your team members go to bat for you.
Yep.
Because a leader, like for instance, we're seeing a leader in the presidency that doesn't lead that way.
Nah, man.
And so we're seeing the direct opposite of that.
Yeah. And that's the key thing. You
Yeah.
said the key thing, man, is being a leader. You know what I'm saying? First off, you got to understand what a leader is.
Right.
You know
Yep.
what I'm saying?
You have
Just
to know what
because
those
you're
traits
in
are.
that position doesn't mean you're a leader.
Right.
You can be in it just for yourself. You
Correct.
know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of people that I've seen who came into my corporate world who was just for self. It wasn't for everybody else. So they'll take your idea that you give them and make it seem like it was their idea.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but then when
Right.
you get to goddamn having to explain it deeply, guess what they finna do? Hey, can you come tell me like what was you really talking about?
Right.
So you can go in deep detail with them, so they can go back and be like, yeah, well, X, Y, and Z, you know what I'm saying, to equal out to
they can break it down.
$40,000, and you know we saved the company billions of dollars. You know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
and you be like, you $1 billion bullshit. You know, but
Right.
it's crazy, man. So let me like jump down just a little bit.
Sure.
I want to ask you, because you said something about the being self-employed.
Mm-hmm.
There was also another thing, black-owned businesses. 34.5% are black-owned businesses. And by you being a part of that black-owned business, and you got about like 9 of them. I'm telling y'all, man, my man right here, man, he's one of them guys, man, that'll put his hands in anything that he feel can do something. And guess
profitable.
what? If it don't work, he ain't mad. He gonna move on to the next one.
That's
So
how you
please,
do it.
y'all, understand. That's why I got this man on here. He's very well rounded, man. That's why I love you, dog. You
Appreciate
you-
it. Appreciate it.
You
Likewise,
got it
man.
going
Likewise.
on, boy. Me,
Likewise.
I gotta go to work. You know, yeah, just flat. But black-owned businesses, though.
Yeah.
So as far as being a black owner, right?
All right.
What was your like goal other than making money, of course, but like the idea of how big you wanted to be? Like, what was your strategy in trying to make it work for you? Because you know it gotta work if you're
Right.
trying to do it. You just
It
can't
does.
jump out there and do it. You know what I'm saying?
I think for me, the strategy was to be able to be self-sufficient and profitable, right? So that was my two benchmarks: be profitable and be self-sufficient. And then when those two things happened, I just continued on.
And just continue going.
Yeah. So, like for me, I used to be in corporate America, right? So, well, I don't even know. Maybe I wouldn't say I was in corporate America. I used to work for a corporation, but I wasn't in the corporate office, right? But, so I started out doing that very young, out of high school, out of college, and what I saw was that the opportunities for advancement was limited. The amount of money that I could make was capped. And those two things didn't really work for me.
Right.
Especially when I'm young. I always look at like the future when I'm in a situation. Like when I'm doing something, how long am I going to do this? And is it going to be worth my time?
And that's important.
Right.
You got to think like that, because if you don't, you guess what? You just doing it for nothing.
You're just doing it for nothing. And that's one thing I teach my daughter. She's 10 years old now. We had a conversation last weekend about time. I asked her that question. Which one do you think is more important, time or money?
And you know what? Let's pause right there for a minute. Let's pause right there.
Right.
Because my wife, loved the hell out of her, she had this idea. She said, do you know that, white people been teaching their kids about budgeting way when they was young, right? And she said, let's do the same thing. So I said, all right, cool, let's do it.
All right.
I said, but what do you plan to gain out of this other than them making money, right? She was like, well, it's the mindset that I'm trying to create early. So she want to make the mindset in there early to, well, when they're getting on their own, at least they already had the training. Once again, y'all, if I roll back to my first episode, it starts at home. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and I said, okay, cool. So she got a card. I forget the name of the card. And you know what I'm saying? She's gonna be able to monitor from her bank, from her own personal phone, and monitor to see what they do. Now, granted, they ain't got no job, so we had to create some way of them making some money.
Right.
So we made chores lists. So she got a monthly chores list, a weekly chores list that they got to go through to be able to make money. So now that they making money, guess what? Now you can be able to go out there and spend what you want, but she's going to be training them on how to budget it and how to care for how much you making and stuff like that.
Right.
So, I thought that was like very important for that to happen. And I said, you know what, let's do that. You know what I mean? I think that's where a lot of homes need to go to. Granted, if you're a single person, if you got 2 people in the household, I think that we all need to focus on that kind of category.
Absolutely.
Because that's very important, man.
Yeah. And you building those traits and those habits, and it definitely starts at a young age.
Right.
I mean, and even me looking back at my experience of becoming an entrepreneur, I went to a high school that it was Thera High School. Shout out Thera High School. It used to be Thera High School.
Yeah.
But,
What name is now?
well, it still is Thera High School. So it's DM Thera High School. But when I graduated, they had like a magnet program.
Yeah.
And so they had it
them
sectioned off in different, focus groups. So I
Right.
went through the School of Business and Entrepreneurship, right?
Okay.
Now, little did I know, going to that school, I would become an entrepreneur.
Right.
There are several class members that I graduated with that are now entrepreneurs as well. And it just it goes to what you talked about, which is sowing the seed when they're young, and getting the habits of, even if it's just managing money and managing a budget and knowing your fiscal responsibility, or understanding the difference between time and money, which one are more valuable. You can always make money.
Always.
You can never get more time. So it's just important to know that.
So to move on, let me ask you a question. So do you regret leaving corporate America?
I don't at all. There are some aspects of corporate America that I like, having a set vacation,
right?
Is always good. When you become an entrepreneur, there's no such thing as a vacation. There's really no such thing as time off.
It ain't.
And so many people that aspire to be an entrepreneur, sometimes they're not successful because they don't understand that.
Right.
They think that, okay, it's my business, I can do what I want, which is true. Yeah. You can do anything you want.
That's the truth.
But what you do makes you money. Yeah. There is no consistency or stability without action.
Right.
And so so
you gotta be consistent though.
Yeah,
you gotta be consistent. You can't start a business and just because you ain't made 100,000 in a week, you just say, "Oh, fuck that, I ain't doing it no more." Nah, man, you gotta hold it down, man. I don't know if y'all ever heard the word "stay down" come out on top. You know what I'm saying? You gotta stay down. That's the only way that you can do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that goes for anything that you do in life. You know what I'm saying?
Anything
driving, riding a bike, working at a job that you really goddamn want to come out of. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You just gotta stay down and be consistent with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't do it for everybody else. It's impossible. You know what I'm saying? So like the advice that you would have to give certain people if they came to you and be like, "Hey, Ray, what's the best advice you can give me to start my own business?" Like how would you be able to
word that?
Yeah.
That's a loaded question, because I feel like you'd have to understand who you are. So if you ask me, well, what's the best advice of becoming an entrepreneur? So I would just say, number one, do it, start. So that's the first thing, is start. Steve Harvey had that whole thing of making the jump.
Yep. Leap of faith, baby.
Leap of faith, right. Just do it. So that's the first thing, just do it. The second thing is be consistent with it. But you have to have done research. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. They don't do the research. You don't understand the industry that you're getting into. Now, for me, my entrepreneurship transition was natural because I had already been in real estate. I was already a property manager. So it was natural for me to get my real estate license and now become a real estate agent, understand the sale aspect. So that was my first leap of entrepreneurship. Now, granted, I didn't own the real estate company that I was working for, but I was self-employed because my actions equate my check. So, you had that step up there. But outside of that, once I did that, I went back to property management. I always told myself I wanted to have my own property management company, which I was able to get and do. So I think, the other advice outside of do it, consistency, and research is have it a transition to where it's something that you have knowledge in.
Right.
I don't cut hair for a living. I'm not gonna just open. Well, I actually was gonna open a barbershop, but
didn't I tell y'all? I told y'all, man.
There was gonna be a group of my boys who was gonna open a barbershop, which I hope that's something that we still do. So for instance, like manufacturing cars, I'm not gonna go and open up an assembly plant and say I'm gonna start my own brand of building cars, and I've never, I'm not an engineer.
Right.
So just make it make sense.
Yeah. And as far as like corporate America, you know what I'm saying? The race card, you know what I'm saying? Would you agree that has an advance on your race, like depending on who you are, as far as like you trying to open up your own business? Like, do you believe that you will probably get a better chance of getting your license and all that if you was white than you would be black?
I would say no. No. Starting your own business and becoming an entrepreneur. And I would say this: it depends on where you live in the country and what you're attempting to do. I will say this: there are some industries that if you are black, when it comes to getting certain licenses, you're looked down upon. I would say one of those industries is a bar or lounge. If you're black trying to open a bar and a lounge and get an alcohol license and doing all of that, it sometimes, depending on where you live in the country, can be challenging. Right. I will acknowledge that. And so, yes, for that way. But in a normal way of just opening up, say like if you want to sell clothes, a boutique, or if you want to get a real estate license, none of that is going to be biased on your race at this point because there's so many people that do it.
Right. Cause see that 34.5% of black owned businesses, that reaches out to me as saying like, I think we got more black owned businesses trying to create businesses more than they are in corporate America. So that's probably moving. Why your numbers are so low in corporate America for black people to be CEOs.
That could be true. So many times we were taught to work hard, get good grades, and that should pay off.
Right.
But the reality of that is that's not true.
That's not nowhere near true.
You can work your butt off. You can have a PhD. You can do nothing but great things. But if that right company don't see that in you, or they don't want to acknowledge it, even if they see it, they don't want to acknowledge it. They don't want to give you that position. Then you have to go and create it.
Yep.
And so that number of 34.5%, the increase from 2012 to 2017, that shows that black people are saying, if you're not going to give it to me, I'm just going to go and create it on my own.
Right. And
I think that has to be the takeaway.
And see, and that's another thing. That's just like even with mine. You know what I'm saying? Like I tried to start my own business. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't doing it right. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't marketing.
That's big to acknowledge.
Right.
A lot of people don't admit that.
But shit, I'm going to admit
it. They'll blame it on either their race or they'll blame it on somebody else.
Nope.
So that's big.
And I wasn't marketing it right. And it wasn't benefiting me. Like I would get a job and people be wanting jobs to they would be like, well, I want a whole new house. Well, I'm one man. If I ask some people, your number gonna go up.
Right.
But what I mean by marketing, I wasn't advertising it on Facebook. I wasn't advertising it on social media like I was supposed to. I wasn't out there actually just taking jobs just to advertise it. You know what I'm saying? Because at the time, my mindset was like, nah, I want my money now.
Right. Working to that, and that's a good point that you bring up. I used to say anybody that's looking to get into real estate in any part of the country, one of the advice I would give you is do not get into the real estate business if you need a check.
Right.
And there's also a strategy called working to learn before you can work to earn.
See?
So if you can't work to learn that process and get that portfolio build up, which is what you was attempting to do, and you have to have that mindset because you got to have something to show.
And see, that's what I wasn't doing.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing that. So I wanted to check then. You know what I'm saying? So then I realized myself, and I probably put myself in this situation. I was like, nah, I'm just get a job. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then, even like where I work at, I started at the bottom. Worked my way up, worked hard. By the time I got cheated out of like being paid and all that, did I complain? Nope.
Right.
I just sat there and stayed down and still being consistent and just kept pushing, which ultimately put me in corporate America.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I just said, okay, this is me. This is what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and I feel like that I've mastered that a little bit because I'm not a CEO or anything like that. That's not really my vision right now because, being that, you have to be everywhere.
Right.
I do know that now.
Right.
I do know CEOs and all, they have to travel, they have to do this, they have to go into these big board meetings and all that. I like people, but I don't like them like that. So if you're an asshole, I'm going to let you know, and I don't think that corporate America be ready for me that far.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think I'm just where I need to be right now as far as corporate America.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, all that put together with all that, like, knowledge that you have, you just have to be ready for the downsides of things. And as far as like being black in the corporate America, sometimes we say we ready, but then we don't be ready.
Yeah, because it's a tough world.
It's a different animal.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We got to be happy for what we do and not sad for what we are. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna take a quick break right quick if we can. Hopefully this time it don't mess us up.
All right.
All right, y'all. Welcome back, man. You can see, man, having this conversation, man, can really open up a lot of dialogue. And, you know what I'm saying, topics that, probably got some of y'all wanting to ask some questions and stuff like that, man.
Drop them in the comments.
Yeah, drop them in the comments, man. Like, share.
Yeah.
Start a watch party, all that good stuff, man. We're not just trying to just do this just to be doing this, man. We actually trying to open up the world to a lot of things and let y'all know, we smart too.
Right. We got brains over here.
Yeah. So, but with corporate America being the way it is, it's been this way for generations. You know what I'm saying? Corporate America really started way back in Abraham Lincoln years and before then, you know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
All this is just not nothing new. It's been consistent on how they do things for so long. The same reason why racism is. We've been the target for so long to where it's normal for people to assume shit about us.
Yeah.
And that's why in corporate America it's assumed the same way.
Right.
You assume that we don't know shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew this dude that worked with us, and I don't want to scream his name because he's still there. And he gained a lot of respect, but he's done multiple things though. And I think he's done multiple things in the corporate world to where, he gained his respect just by being there. And not saying he ain't doing nothing, because he does a great job. That man is awesome. You know what I'm saying? I got much respect for him. But when I sit there and I look at like how he floats around, you know what I'm saying? Not too many people really bother him. You know what I'm saying? They include him on everything. Compared to me, I'm only included when it's needed. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, well, damn, how do I get that status? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it just comes to just, how long you been in the game. You know what I'm saying? So if I've been like where I am for like 17 years, if I put in another 25, I might survive more than the rest of them. But who's to say that? They might be like, all right, bro, we appreciate your service. You did a good job. It's time for you to go. All I want is my service package, goddammit. You give me that.
Right.
You can do whatever you want after that, goddamn.
Right. Yeah.
But, it just, you have to be ready when you come to corporate. You
do.
have to.
You do.
You got to be ready
Much luck
to like
for you guys.
bring that energy sometimes.
Right.
You just like being on a podcast.
Yeah.
You got to have that energy for folks to understand where you stand at.
You do.
And people will just sit there and look at you and just be like, what did he got that I ain't got? You know what I'm saying? Well, it's called experience.
Right.
That's why people talk to me quicker than they'll talk to you. You know what I'm saying? And I know that sounds crazy, but it is true. You know what I'm saying?
True. Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of things up there for a long time. Like I said, when I first started, I started at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Making $10 an hour. Woo.
Yeah. Yeah, so when you talk about that many years, man, you've put in that work. But hopefully, people that are watching the show can take away, and learn something about, how to. Let me ask you a question: if you had to give somebody, if they ask you, man, I'm struggling right now, I'm on the verge, and I just don't know what to do. What would you tell them?
I'd tell them they have to find themselves. Find what makes you confident. You know what I'm saying? Bring that more out of you than what is existing in front of you.
Right.
Because you don't want that part of that negative side to take over your positive side. As long as you control your positive side, the negative gonna just do what negative do. It's just gonna be there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just like a remote. You know what I'm saying? You got a negative side, you got a positive side. When you put them batteries in, you put it on the negative side, you put it on the positive side.
Right.
So you have to be able to control what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So for my advice for them is to just dig deep, know what your worth is, put it to your test. Because that's what it is. It's a test. Whenever you catch somebody who's challenging you like that, it's not just they being an asshole. If you believe in God, it's just God is just testing your might to see how strong you are. Take that and roll with that. And then guess what?
And pass the test.
And you will pass that test. Because it's always going to be somebody who's going to challenge you, especially in corporate. Because they want to be looked at as one of the best companies in the world. They want to be looked at as better than the next contender that they got over there. You know what I'm saying? So certain things that they might ask you to do is going to be challenging to you. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it's just micromanaging, then it's just micromanaging. But if that person is sitting up there trying you, is making it seem like that you don't know shit and you don't know how to do your job and you know how to do your job, then you need to prove to them that you're way better than what they trying to assume about you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's also what's big in the black corporate world too. You know what I'm saying? I think they try to challenge us in a way that they don't think we know what we doing.
Right.
You know, and it
Right.
does. You know,
Right.
like we do know what we doing because motherfucker, we wouldn't be doing this. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? That'd be my whole thing. So, but yeah, if somebody should ask me that, I try to generate that kind of knowledge to them. And that's the same thing with my people, man. Like everybody got problems, personal problems. You know what I'm saying? Whatever kind of problems, mental problems, and to be their leader, you have to be able to look at all that. So if you got a guy who's like less of, confident in himself, don't put him in a situation where his confidence is gonna get destroyed even more.
Right.
You slowly build that person up in a way that they'll feel comfortable. So if you got him doing a job, have him doing a job that you know he will be successful in. Not everybody has good common sense.
Right.
You just got to take that.
Common sense ain't so common.
Right. You got to take that. And,
Right.
For me, I like to talk to my team members. I like to communicate with them. I ask them every morning when I see them, man, all right this morning? You good? Man, how was life last night? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Right.
If you engage yourself deeply enough, and also here's a big key thing that I've learned dealing with corporate, remembering birthdays. Not saying you got to buy them a birthday gift. You know what I'm saying? Now, at my job, they'll send you a email telling you how long this person been at the job. And in that job, you can open it up and then you can go to their page and it'll tell you what their birthday is. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
And if they talking to you and they communicating with you and they look like they're down about things, sometimes just give them a little inspiration. Granted, you can't change their life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So don't expect me to come give you some money. I just but what I can do is give you some good advice to make you proceed. And look, don't worry
Right.
about it. It's gonna be all right. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Hey, shit happens or whatever the case may be. I got this one cat, man, and he's more of like down to earth, but he sometimes get like caught in his feelings a lot. And so what I try to do is just like, speed him up. Like, bro, don't worry about it, man.
Right.
Everybody have our things, man. We have our big issues and we just do things like that. And he's cool. He's a good dude, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just that kind of guy, man.
Right.
I don't believe in like my job is more. Well, my job is more important, but I'm just saying like
Right,
my
right.
job is not to tear you down and
Right.
not bring you up. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's
Right.
a team effort. Everything we do is team effort. I can't do it without you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Now, granted,
Right.
I probably could, but then that's more strain on me that I'm gonna have to deal
Absolutely.
with. So why would I put myself in that situation? So yeah, man. Hey, I feel like we had a good topic today.
I do
man.
too. I think it was good. It was good. Hopefully they can learn something.
Hopefully y'all learned something. Man, today's topic, you see it up there. You know what I'm saying? Blacks in corporate America. Still what they say? Largely invisible. Goddamn. You know?
Just tell the people your final thoughts, man.
Goddamn, I'm gonna tell him that. Hey, you talking about? Yeah, man. My final thoughts is, man. Look, man. Just understand. Corporate is corporate. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can change it. Sometimes you can't. I think that we all need to understand what the world brings to our table. And if you in corporate America, you probably feel what I'm saying. If you ain't, you just beginning in corporate America, take in heed what we just said. It's there and it's gonna teach you all you need to know. Don't get negative about it. Stay positive, you know what I'm saying, and it'll be all right, man. That's my final thought, man. I think everybody should be happy on what they do in life. God wouldn't put you in nothing you can't control, So, as I'm gonna tell you like this here, Ray, appreciate you for being on the show, man.
No problem. Thank you for having me again.
Hey,
I
man.
appreciate it. It's always fun.
Always, man. Our dialogue be off the chain, man. One more thing, man. We gonna take a break from next Saturday. I'm gonna take a quick little break. I got wife duty, husband duties, and kids duties, and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And your little boy birthday coming up, man.
Yeah, 1 year old next Friday, man.
1 year. Ooh, boy, I remember that, man. I
Yeah.
ain't got no 1 year old no more. Shit, my oldest married and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Hey, baby. So, yeah, man, we're going to take a break from that. So, it won't be a show next Saturday. It'll be one probably the following. What's that, like 2 weeks? You know what I'm saying?
2 weeks from today.
Yeah, 2 weeks from today, man. So I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for joining in, tuning in. Remember what I said. Like, share, comment, man. Put your boy out there, man. Me and Ray, one day. One day. All right, y'all. Holla.
Peace.